Hydraulics, Thomas. Plumbing. Architects of light. Plumbing. Hydraulics. Like hydrolaze or the organic water code. TY. So I wrote a few things down that came to me. And I was sharing some stuff last night with Christopher Comstock on his new channel. I can't remember the name of it, but he does the KDS stuff, right? So I just wrote this stuff down to just sort of make it what I call a condenser, to condense it down and try and simplify it, because it was written on my timeline, right, to go into fire protection and emergency medical services and working with fire hose. Working with water, the spirit in the water, the living spirit in the water. So I just wrote some of these simple things down because I normally work with children because of how simple it actually is, particularly with water, right? Fire and water. So I wrote this down. About, how did I first start this off, Thomas? Gated wise. And then hydrolaser organic water code, the PSI code, and then you know what off-gassing is, right? Pressure relief, the venting, like when you're around active volcanoes, or if you've ever been around what are known as lava tubes, right? Great place. It's a great learning adventure with children is to go up to, they're all over the planet, but the place that I happen to be in was called Crater Lake, which is in Southern Oregon. And if you go up in an area called Prospect, there are some campgrounds up through there between Prospect and Crater Lake itself, where there are some great exhibits, learning exhibits of lava tubes that you can walk through, right? And how that relates to pressure relief valves. So if you've ever been around a fire engine, right, and we used to have a standard of what was known as pressure, PSI, at the end of the nozzle, which is the discharge point of water and heat and thermal gradients, right? The mathematical relationship of molecular covalent bonds, water molecules, fire, right? The fire element. And so I wrote this down about PSI-coded venting, off-gassing, pressure relief valves, and cold water PSI codes, holographic, and hot water PSI codes, holographic. Zero pressure, heating and cooling towers, the Dragon Line Tower of Babylon. Now, why is this? Here's some interesting part of this, Thomas. If you take a 100-foot section of 1.5-inch diameter, the inside diameter of the hose that I worked with, they were 100-foot lengths, okay, one. Okay, and they happen to hold as volume of water, space, 9 gallons of water. Okay, and water in pounds, foot-pounds per square inch, weighs 8 pounds per gallon. So that equals 72. Okay, so this is when you can get into the Schumann resonance there, Thomas. Per 100 foot of rubber-lined cotton jacketed hose. And why cotton? Because living spirit in living water loves to breathe. Cotton. Living cotton. Breathing water. Okay. So this is sort of how the mathematical firing order of experiencing what you learn in your mirror on the inside, the inner eartha, the inner cells, the inner fire codes, the inner holographic fire letter codes, which is running the proper mathematical order because of the mathematical relationship that fire and water have, all right, to maintain equal pressure, which is balance, which is atoms. It's the atomic matter state, the matter state codes, the holographic codes. So that's why I've always suggested, grab yourself a fire engine and bring it on down to the elementary school, and you can impart this information. It's really simple for children to learn, right? How water works, water worlds, water pressure, right? Yeah. Bursting bubbles, quantum bubbles, right? The foam. That's something else we used to work with. It was very effective when we, when was this, Mama? This was up in Monterey County, because I wanted to experience all of it, right? Remember, I was on fire to learn, Thomas. Just absolutely on fire to learn. So I wanted to go into all the aspects, right? All the different angles of light, which represent all the different mirrors, right? The mirror on us, right? The inner you, the ion is on us, the you, the unicycle. But I guess it was around 1972, I went to work for the Cal Fire up in Monterey County, and I had the opportunity to be introduced to something that I hadn't experienced before, which was called AFFF, which is known as aqueous, like an agua, as in water, film forming foam. And what was the application of that as letters, as holographic fire letters? Well, we got called out one night to a rich field. These were oil tanks, storage reservoirs, polymers, oil. And one of the tanks was on fire. And there was another one that was next to it that I grabbed a line. It was my job to prevent and cool the next tank. And have you ever seen, remember the old Jiffy Pop popcorn? I guess they still have that you can buy, and you put it on a burner. And what do you see? The expansion, right? The thermal expansion. It looks like sort of like a dome, a plume, a mushroom plume, right? Growing as the heat is expanding, right? Electrical density, altitude of consciousness, experiencing its cells as gas, expanding the gas. So here, this tank right in front of me, okay, is expanding like a Jiffy popcorn, okay, right in front of me. And so we introduced into the tank, which is the water tank, because we were connected to a water tender, to apply aqueous film forming foam. Right? What is the purpose? Cool. Cooling. What's known as cool the base. Cool the base. The center point of that fire. Right? You want to cool the base down. Cool it down, baby. Right? Cooling, cold fusion, hot fission become one, becoming one magnet. Massive whirlpool of plasma, state of consciousness that is equal distribution, which is the four-way intersection. The hub tones, the original hub tones. Ah, yeah, ah, yeah, ah, yeah. Yeah, Thomas. I thought I'd share that with you because you got to know fire's in my blood. So I love to chase the spirit of fire, huh? With water. Yeah, it's a relationship of 300 to 1. So it's 3 places. There's a 3 in one place, then there's a 0 in the next place, and then there's a 0 in the next place. 3 placeholders. Complex number space. C space. C3 space. The creative quotient potential is on fire as it relates to accretion levels and filling up batteries. Right? Capacitors on a motherboard. Spirit of fire. The firewall. The cell wall. Protecting the cell wall. Stem cells. Yeah. T1. B1.